Girl, I'm trying to come and chill with you. Flip a doujin in the bed, I'm reading manga till it's 2. Tell me that you love us if I go, I'm knowing that it's true. Cause you acting all moe and vanilla in my view. So this is for them waifus. Straight 2D flex in my life, fool. If you fuck with hentai, you my dude. Let the beat right out, keep it nice and smooth, yo. Hello? Yeah, I got a question.
Anime, everyone. Welcome to the weeabooze, the What's Up podcast, where some of the most anime people try to answer your unqualified questions.
Anime.
I'm Jeremy.
What? I'm Kyle.
I'm Hunter.
And welcome to the weeabooze. This week's kind of my episode. Oh, Jeremy over here. I got to choose the topic basically, and I guess I'll kind of be directing it somewhat. And the main kind of theme is anime versus animation. Particularly, anime obviously comes from Japan. Animation is any other animated movie, TV show you might have seen. That includes cartoons,
Pixar, Disney, stop motion, even. Oh, really?
Claymation
I would
and
say
stuff?
any animation. I would say.
Okay,
Sure. So animation being the broad term encompassing everything, and anime being specifically from Japan.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And on that, anime seems to obviously have a particular feel for it. Like anime, to be labeled anime, like bourbon or whatever, has to come from Japan, right?
Sure.
Speaking of alcohol.
Oh yeah, what are we drinking?
Oh, right. Tonight, Kyle made us some Manhattans, which is a combination of whiskey, vermouth, and something or other bitters.
Yeah.
What is the brand
Angostura?
name? Angostura bitters.
Angus bitters.
Angus bitters.
Steak tips.
And like always, we have our drinking rule. If an anime butt pops up on the screensaver, take a drink. But
Got some feet pretty close to the mic.
do not kick that stand.
Anyway. As a preface for tonight's episode, I asked everyone to watch a movie on Netflix. It's called It's Such a Beautiful Day.
Mm-hmm.
You might recognize its style from the Rejected cartoons that have millions of views on YouTube.
What's his name? Like Don Hertzfeld?
Don Hertzfeld, I believe.
Hertzfeld, yeah.
The my spoon is too big.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
guy. He has that company has a couple movies actually. I need to watch the first two. But it was amazing. It made me laugh and made me cry, and it's just over an hour long.
Yeah.
I believe the movie is a combination of it's like a set of 3 movies all put together, like short stories put together. It was the Everything Will Be Okay
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
It's a trilogy, and it was
Right.
put into a single movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I loved it. It was definitely one of the most unique instances of animation I've ever seen. Typically, like if we kind of try to break it down, we have like what we said in the beginning, which is we have cartoons in the West, we have like Disney and Pixar, and that's really it. There's the third category, which is just like hidden gems.
Yeah.
And it can be like maybe claymation. There's only so many.
Stop
There's
motion.
then the unique thing like that we found, which is It's Such a Beautiful Day.
Right. Which is what Sam's not here, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What Sam described, or he looked up the definition for cartoons.
Uh-huh.
What was that again?
It was like a simple drawing with some of the features drawn
Like over-exaggerated, yeah.
for
Exaggerated
humorous intent or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. Like relies on a gimmick, basically. And that's exactly what this movie did. Like, for reference, if you don't see the movie or don't want to watch the movie, they're basically stick figures. And the movie was pretty cool because it kept it super generic. Everything was really basic. There was no environment almost the entire time, and everyone's name was like Bill or Sally. Like it was
Right.
really generic. Yet it provided a really good storyline. So I guess my question is, what does anime provide that other sources of animation don't? At least for you guys.
Well, I kind of thought that anime compared to other animation, there are really 4 main differences, and they consist of genre, demographics, age specifically, visuals, and then the longevity. So with the genre, anime has every genre, essentially, whereas cartoons specifically are purely comedic.
Lacking, yeah, very much so.
You can get there are different variations. There's like adult humor and then humor for kids, but there's really nothing more than that. Then demographics, anime has a wide range, debatably. Some people would say that all animation is typically oriented towards kids regardless of anime or Western.
I thought the demographic was like 12 to 35 or something crazy, which is like the brunt of population.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends who you're talking to.
Sure.
But for the most part, I would say anime has a much wider age group than cartoons. Cartoons are obviously oriented towards kids.
Children. But in that sense, they always throw in like adult relatable things.
Totally.
Because you were saying earlier that parents typically tend to watch shows or movies with their children.
Visuals. So anime is very detailed. It's people just see it and they're blown away by how gorgeous it can be. And then cartoons are simplistic. It's cost effective, and that goes into longevity. Cartoons are set to run a very long time.
Yeah.
SpongeBob has been running for years, whereas an anime gets 12 to 24 episodes if it's
14
lucky.
seasons or something crazy like
Yeah,
that.
you got, The Simpsons, South Park's on like 21 now.
Oh my god, yeah.
And you even have some of the newer cartoons that have come out, more like adult-themed cartoons, have started getting 3rd, 4th seasons, like Rick and Morty, Bob's Burgers, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's,
They're awesome, by the way.
yeah.
What? On both?
So
Eh?
I watched the first episode of Bob's Burgers, and I was like, not for me.
It's
Rick and-
okay. Like, it's
Rick and Morty, for me, was just like, it relied on this, like, I'm an alcoholic, and I burp between every word I say gimmick, like, way too much, and I hate that. That's one of my, like, pet peeve kind of things.
I would disagree. I don't think it relied on it whatsoever. Sure, that's its like surface gimmick, but that's what you
Like, I've seen
passed off.
some pieces of the show, like, just little clips that have been really funny, but I couldn't get into the show as a whole.
It's so intelligent. It is such a smart show. Not that that's a jab.
No, I get
didn't
that.
even take it as much.
I'm sorry I mentioned it.
Yeah. I don't know. Before, like, we've already been talking about like adult-oriented cartoons. For me, like, if you ever wondered what I was like before I got into anime, I was the exact same, but about cartoons. I grew up on them. I spent like every waking moment watching cartoons so much that like I felt like I had seen everything that there really was. I mean, we were all born in the 90s. We grew up on 90s cartoons. We have Hey Arnold, we have Rocco, we have Invader Zim. Even though
The Invader Zim crowd, dude. Those people. Those,
Oh, you're
those
in the
middle
minority
school.
with you.
You're in the minority here,
I
Hunter.
love Invader Zim. Jesus.
That was the random phase. Oh my god.
Maybe a little bit actually. I would definitely kind of say it's the start of the random phase, but
Yeah.
I loved it.
But like I said, like I was so much into everything. I felt like I had watched all there was to watch in terms of cartoons that I eventually moved into older stuff. I got really into like Popeye and Looney Tunes, and I feel like I've watched every episode of Looney Tunes and Popeye. Like I love animation, I love cartoons, and we're not even talking about like Disney films too. So like I just
Well, I think they're very, very different. I think that cartoon, by definition, has to be kind of like... I mean, the definition is to be exaggerated and humorous.
Yeah.
Whereas animation in general is not bound by that definition. Like, when you're talking about Disney films, like Up is like super heartfelt. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of like really kind of deep stories in some of the like Pixar animation films and you know, some of the Disney classics. But if you're specifically talking about cartoons, I think it's almost unfair to anime because you're saying, all right, that's like comparing only comedy anime to cartoons or something. Whereas you have some Western cartoons, like a good example being Avatar: The Last Airbender,
and Korra.
is, you know, that's a lot closer to a Japanese style anime, just made, you know, with, you know, English voices from the start, made for an English audience by, you know, Western people.
Yeah, but that was intentional, you know? Korra was trying to imitate the, you know, a Japanese style.
Tried to grab that
Well,
audience. for
Korra
sure.
and Last Airbender, I think, are pretty different. I think that Korra was not nearly as good as The Last Airbender. I know
I
they're,
agree
they're
with
in the
that.
same universe, but there was something special about the Last Airbender that reminded me. It kind of invoked a lot of feelings that you get while watching Japanese animation. Like, you know, you had this like story arc. You had the 3 seasons, or was it 4 seasons? No, it was 3 seasons, and each one was an element. You see like a lot of character progression and stuff. It was a lot closer to this picture is very distracting.
Do you want to take a drink to it?
It's kind of a side.
Yeah,
of it.
okay, it's Hana from Prison School, so yeah, take a
I can
drink.
kind of see a nip.
Sweet.
But I think you know, that kind of I totally lost my
Yeah,
train
what was
Oh.
your point there?
that if you're trying to compare to like Japanese animation to only cartoons, you're not being fair to animation as a whole.
For sure. Okay, I get that. Is it because they have the genres? Okay,
Right. It's like if you're subverting only cartoons, you're saying only purely comedic stuff, which I
Right.
think in some ways Western animation actually does better. I think that some of the cartoons here have, well, I mean, it's hard for us to understand all of the Japanese jokes and the Japanese humor in some of these comedy shows where
Yeah.
we get all the pop culture references in American cartoons.
On that note, it's really hard for cartoons, especially Western cartoons, to make any genre other than comedy. They fail miserably over and over again, and it's strange because anime can do whatever it wants, and
Yeah.
it seems to succeed in all sorts of genres.
I can't actually think of an example that isn't The Last Airbender that was like
And even
A
Air-
successful
Western-
non-comedy.
yeah, even
Yeah.
Airbender like thrived on comedy, like not entirely, but
yeah,
a
but it
lot,
has a lot of
yeah.
comedy. In it.
yeah. Like I said, that is where your movie comes into play. It's these rare gems, these rare examples of like animation taken to an extreme where it's very artsy. There aren't any other forms of animation really.
Exactly. The movie took a totally different direction. It like did not rely on art. The overall immersion you get from a lot of animes or the anime universe, and it was so, but it still like hit all the points. It still hit all its bullseyes. Like there was several scenes where there, like I said, there's no environment, but it still provides several focal points, and those like focal points, it was so simple. It was like a leg and like keys dropping on the counter,
Yeah.
and like whatever it was cool because like those three things that I put on the screen still evoked such a specific emotion out of you. It was
Totally.
it was mind blowing. I love it. Like I said, I love it.
Real quick, just for people that probably have not seen this movie, because I don't think that many people will have seen this. I've never heard of it before.
I just encourage it. It's such a beautiful day.
Just like a short synopsis of the movie, I guess. I mean, I only watched half of it, but what he's talking about with the animation style is that the full screen is nearly never used. You see like almost tears in the screen, and these all come from different points of view. So sometimes it'll be like a first person view, sometimes it'll be a side view, and sometimes, and actually most of the time, it'll be a remarkably like normal circumstance, like
Yeah,
you know,
the most-
pitting keys on the counter.
Most
or
of the
taking a
film
drink.
looks like someone doodled on like a strip of film, and it kind of like burnt through.
That's so cool.
But
But you still got a feel for it. You still knew they were in a hospital room or they
Right.
were outside, like in the park.
Well, a lot of that I think had to do with the sound.
Oh, for sure. No, its sound was on top of it. Yeah.
Right.
that just makes me think, why don't we have animated shows that are like Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones, where everyone watches them?
I think that specifically in the States, it still looked as a childish thing
Still
to
a
be
stigma.
watching an animation. Well, not even a stigma so much as like it's
The stigma doesn't dominate it for sure, but there is still one. Like no one gets around and says, "Hey, did you all see that?" Like Breaking Bad is talked about amongst everyone, but there's no animation that is also talked about by everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Monster, I mean, it's an anime, but Monster would be that show if more Americans watched it.
Huh.
It feels like an American TV show.
How long is that one? That one's like a.
It's like 40.
Oh, it's only 4? Okay.
Yeah, 40 or 50.
right. I think there's just like the reason people watch the Game of Thrones and like Breaking Bad or like Dexter before it became trash. Like, I think I think a lot of it stems from that people connect more with other human characters. Like,
Yeah. It's
I-
easier too.
yeah, I mean, like in anime, you can notice maybe a voice actor or an animation style, but seeing Kevin Bacon on the screen, you're like, man, I love that Kevin Bacon. He's been in all these great things.
Just like Kevin Bacon.
Kevin
You know,
Bacon.
you connect more with
Kinda
the,
hijinks.
with the characters.
Yeah.
What, you guys hate Kevin Bacon?
No.
Never seen Tremors?
I just like playing with his name. Okay, one thing I kind of wanted to get into was that we talked about different types of mediums mediums of media of entertainment
Yeah.
that tell a story. One thing I really like about books is that it leaves so much to the imagination, too much for some people. Whereas on the total opposite end is something like anime, there's that heavy immersion. Like you are in this universe.
You can't change how they look, how they sound, how they fight. You can't change anything.
And nothing really happens that's unexpected as far as visuals or not including story. But there can be animation like this movie that does leave a lot up to the imagination. You can based on a character's facial expressions or how they dress, how they look, how they act, you can envision a history or a past behind them. So something like this movie left so much of that up to the imagination.
Yeah, I feel like that was very intentional, based on the subject matter of the film. For the same way that a manga, like my favorite manga of all time, Oyasumi Punpun, is...
It sounds so cute.
Yeah, it is. Punpun. His name is Punpun. Punpun is like a little tiny bird creature, but the world around him is drawn hyper-realistically. And it also deals with similar subject matter because it's kind of that... I mean, the film was about much more than depression. Sure. But it had very depressing...
I would almost go with, like, dementia. Like,
sure, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, the Punpun?
No.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about Punpun?
Yes.
Or the
Yes.
Beautiful Day movie?
Well, both. I'm saying they're similar in the
both.
sense that both have kind of this vague amorphous main character, so you can relate better almost.
So
you can
anyone
put
relate.
that yourself in their shoes.
Right.
So visuals are very dependent on subject matter, based on that.
Thanks for clearing that up for me. Yeah, that was well put.
So on the other end of the spectrum, if we're not talking about cartoons, what do you think that Disney classics, or not even classics, some of the new movies like Brave or that Mona movie's coming out, like the India
that are 3D
India
India
Islander movie, the or Frozen or WALL-E, all of these kind of movies. What do you think that they offer that differs from anime, good or bad?
A 3D environment, that's very shiny and colorful.
Yeah, Disney and Pixar have a very distinct look, and it's kind of the epitome of CG in the world of animation.
A lot of animators soft.
Yeah, that's a good descriptive word.
A lot of animation, especially Western animation, has to provide this safe feeling,
a good atmosphere.
Yeah, which is why it comes off soft and round. Which is
well, you can even see
nice,
that in the design of the characters. Like in anime, you don't see there's a lot of jagged edges, especially in people's chins or people's hairs and people's clothing. There's a lot of 90-degree angles, whereas in Frozen, it's every single character is a big bowl in different
balls attached to balls.
Yeah.
Bowl. I think that's cool though about anime. It's that is actually leaves more up to the imagination. Where a pointed chin, no one's chin is exactly 90 degrees at the bottom of their face, but you can picture a stern face that's got a prominent chin.
And to kind of wrap things up, there's no downside to either. I love cartoons almost as much as I love anime. I love animation. I love the stories that each can tell, and shows oriented towards kids are just as enjoyable as super gritty or psychological anime. It's just what you're feeling at the time. There's so much. I just wish that there was more story-driven adult cartoons.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I almost put them in different watching categories for that reason. It's if I want something thought-provoking, or I want to follow a story or be enticed by some sort of story, I'll go and watch some sort of anime. Whereas a cartoon's easier to pick up and just watch one episode completely outside of the season.
Totally.
And just waste 20 minutes just being entertained.
Absolutely. I'm doing that right now with ReZero, obviously. I think I'm caught up.
Awesome.
And then BoJack Horseman. BoJack Horseman on Netflix is awesome. I mean, it's not outrageously funny, but it also still follows some sort of a storyline. Don't watch it out of order.
I feel
but
that way about
they're
Bob's
totally
Burgers.
different feels.
Bob's Burgers gave me that feeling.
I
wasn't laughing out loud, but
Exactly.
you do have to watch it in order.
But it just made you happy.
Yeah. It's
See, I'm going a step further than that. I'm talking about the South Park, the Family Guy. I've never watched Archer, but I from what I've heard, it's kind of like this: is that you can watch you just flip through the channels and you see it on, and you're like, I can watch the rest of this episode and not like screw up the one after this or the one before.
Right.
Like,
And that difference between things that air on television and things that you watch on demand,
Yeah.
it can be picked up by anyone just flipping through channels.
Do you guys have like a favorite cartoon, past or present?
The first two that come to mind are SpongeBob SquarePants and Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Top two.
So SpongeBob would be like past.
Oh,
and
sure, up to season 9, I think.
Right,
where
right.
Before they switched directors.
what's your favorite SpongeBob episode?
The Paper. It's on season 1 or
Oh,
early.
you
Season
mean
1 or season 2.
99?
No. Not Frankendoodle, although that's
Oh,
a
Frankendoodle.
That's a damn good one. The Paper's an older one where Squidward trades literally everything he owns for imagination. For SpongeBob's imagination.
Yeah.
He has so much fun with his piece of paper, and he has no fucking imagination. He can't do shit with it. It was really
It's a
good.
good one.
Good choice.
What about you?
It's a toss-up between the Band Geeks episode with the song, the Sweet Victory song at the end, and the episode where they have to paint Mr. Krabs' house.
Oh yeah. Is it the swearing one?
No.
No, not the swearing one.
No.
It's like where they have they get like paint on a dollar and he tries to
that
rub it
one-
off
that one's
and
so
it
much
becomes completely blue and they start beating it with like a baseball bat. It's
Two
like,
giant bubbles.
yeah.
We
So-
have technology. I was asking you what your favorite cartoon is.
cartoon
Yeah,
just in
in
general,
general.
I'd have to go with SpongeBob.
Really?
SpongeBob or the Fairly Odd Parents for like last, like past.
Sure.
And then maybe
Okay.
for like modern kind of cartoons, I want to go with like King of the Hill.
Okay.
Like
sure.
I think a lot of people don't like it because it's super dry, but I love that about
It
it.
is really dry.
Well, like
about you?
like I said, I love so much. One that really stands out is Venture Brothers.
Oh, okay.
That's, I think, one of the smartest cartoons or like really smartest stories ever.
Sure.
It's so intelligent and hilarious. But I wouldn't call it my favorite right now. I'm really enjoying Steven Universe. I keep up with
Dude,
Steven Universe.
hell yeah. Steven Universe is awesome. It's the new Adventure Time.
Totally. I used to be really into Adventure Time. I just kind of stopped watching it for no reason.
Yeah.
I want to get back into it, but
It's not super enthralling, but
Yeah.
it is really enjoyable.
okay. We have kind of a somewhat relevant question.
Sweet.
I mean, it's on the opposite aspect of what we're talking about. But what's our favorite non-animated movie?
Non-animated?
Yeah, so live action.
So live action.
Yeah. And it's from Anonymous.
Is it Vape City? Is it Vape O'Clock?
Oh yeah, I did see Vape City. That was a good one. Fuck you. Non-animated. Favorite? That's such a hard question.
I know.
Um,
The first thing that comes to mind for
Hot Rod.
me... Hot Rod?
okay.
Really?
Dude, Hot Rod is probably my favorite like live action movie.
That is such a good picture that we don't have to drink to.
Jeremy likes Nisekoi girls.
Nisekoi.
Who's your favorite Nisekoi girl? Oh! I forget her name, but yeah, she's the good one.
So hot.
Who's short-haired blue girl, dresses like a guy?
Hey.
No, not.
Don't you make fun of her?
No, she does. Like, intentionally. She wears pants instead of a skirt. Because she's like...
I dig it.
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
dig jeans over a skirt.
Yeah,
any day.
anyways. For me, favorite
Yeah.
favorite live-action movie might be Fight Club.
Fight Club.
Excellent choice.
Might be.
Gladiator's good too.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Oh, that's my
Oh.
favorite.
God, bottom of the barrel scum. I can't. So actually, I have a lot of friends that love that movie.
What?
I hate that movie.
How many friends
Jeremy, answer the
do we
question.
not
I'm
know?
thinking.
The Matrix.
Avengers.
Like, not-
Iron Man.
Iron Man
3.
2.
The Truman Show.
Oh, good.
Um,
Very good.
Oh, sure. Since that's the only thing that came out of my mouth right now, we'll go with the
Jeremy's
Truman Show.
favorite movie is The Truman Show.
I mean, if we can do shows, whose line it is?
What?
is
No,
it
no,
in
no.
it?
The Truman Show is a movie.
Damn it. It has show in the name.
Sorry.
Let's talk about what we're watching.
What did you say?
Whose line is it anyway?
No, you said
No, favorite movie. Favorite live action movie was
Rod.
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hot
Hot
Rod
Rod. Never
Kimball.
mind. Sorry.
Hot
Rod Kimball.
Rod
Jimmy
Kimball.
Fallon Show.
Avatar.
Garbage. Oh, Avatar.
I said last. Okay. What are we watching?
What are you watching, Jeremy?
ReZero and BoJack.
So wait, no. So what? You said you think you caught up?
Oh, I finished episode 23. I
yeah.
don't want to spoil anything. but
Right.
Does
He just took
does
over
this
Super
jump
Response.
happen?
Yeah, we're all
that
caught
was-
up.
that was-
Guys, we finally did it. Anime season's almost over. We all caught
But-
up on a series.
But they did all that work. Oh, the season's over?
No, almost.
Oh, okay, sure. They
Yeah,
did
it's
all
like,
that
where's
work
the reset point?
in his last life.
Yeah.
And yeah, now they gotta reset again. Like, sure, he knows what to do, but
I don't. How did that happen? How did the possession happen?
I think it seems like when he takes out the person currently like being, because I've never seen two of them together. Have you?
Sure, no.
2 of the fingers.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think it's when he takes out one, it goes to another.
That might be relevant. I want to say something has to do with the book. He's
I wanna say it
arbitrarily
does.
carrying around. Like, what the fuck?
Just showing it to
Yeah,
people.
what,
Get it out of here.
That's
Yeah.
really dangerous.
You
It means you're
stupid-
part of the clan. I'm gonna
That-
take this
Instantly, they were like, "Don't do
idiot.
that." And he's like, "Not thinking."
Looks at him, puts it in his
Too
pocket.
late.
Yeah, I didn't really get that. So it was emotional, but it was kind of jarring.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I don't like their
their
cliffhangers.
cliffhangers,
They're not great, but they.
I don't know. I like that
They're there.
episode.
I like the episode. I just
Yeah.
don't like the cliffhangers.
Yeah.
What are you watching? You seem to be watching more, or are you probably watching more?
Yeah, well,
Psycho.
how's Mob Psycho?
So Mob Psycho episode 9 was definitely kind of a rising action.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like seeing Mob kind of like no time for games kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty cool. Him walking up and just being like, hang on a sec.
Yeah.
We don't have time for this, and just
I got
Like
this.
wrecking that guy.
yeah. Holy shit, that guy got
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah, Mob Psycho, I think I mentioned last week, it's all about that tension. It's slow to rise, but now it's like nothing but nonstop, like intense.
Yeah.
So I'm liking that a lot. Cool. I actually got a text from a friend who listens to the show.
Cool.
And she gave a really cool suggestion. And I made a post about it, and we only got one response because it was kind of last minute. But basically, we want to start getting your opinions on what you're watching as well. So, because for me, right now, all I can really talk to you guys is about ReZero and Mob Psycho. And when I bring up other shows, I'm kind of talking to myself. So, I said, send us your thoughts, like, throughout the week when you're watching something new, like, your reactions, whatever, your opinions, and we can talk about it.
Absolutely.
So,
If anyone has a recommendation for me, I mean, like, I'm caught up with ReZero, and I have lots of time on my hands at the moment.
no,
seeing as the
Jeremy
job
doesn't
search.
get recommendations until you finish everything you haven't finished yet. You haven't finished Ping Pong.
What?
You're the one
Fine.
that doesn't like homework, and
Yeah,
you gave us
finished.
homework this week.
Yeah.
It was an hour, and it was amazing. It was not homework.
I'm
But-
just saying.
I would love a recommendation, if you will.
We
I
got
recommend you finish everything.
Fuck you.
we got a message from Darvinger, and he said, I just started watching Taboo Tattoo, and I have to say it's not what I was expecting. The action is all there, the way they portray Americans is hilarious, and just the right amount of fan service. Excited to see how they wrap it all up. However, it's slightly reminiscent of Guilty Crown.
Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I can see how it's slightly reminiscent of Guilty Crown in the sense that it's bad. But like I
What
say,
is it? You ask people to give you your opinion, so you just like your opinion
no,
sucks.
he said he's worried for the same reason we are. It's fun. It's a fun show. It's not good,
okay.
and the animation is cool. The fight scenes are top notch.
I don't like fun romps.
You don't?
I mean, the occasional
I
fun romp.
hate fun.
Prison
Do you
school.
like? Did you like the Avengers? That's all that movie is.
Yeah, like, whatever. I mean, like, it's hard to say you dislike the Avengers, I guess.
But yeah, loving Amanchu, really cute still.
How's New Game?
New Game's really cool. It's really sweet. It's just relaxing, really good, cute. It's cute. Cute show.
It's cute.
Yeah,
All right.
that's all.
How many
That
cute can a
Cute. That's
every
four
cute.
Toad. Toad's cute.
How's that? Is that anime still airing of the single dad?
Yeah,
Orange.
Sweetness and Lightning.
Is that
Not
is that
even
also
close.
cute?
Also very cute. Also very cute.
What's the orange one?
Orange is when let's see, how's it doing or what's it about?
Is that the, like, I'm gonna die in 10 years guy?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's that one. Both Orange and Amanchu and Sweetness and Lightning, they're all still really good.
Is that what the single dad one's called? Sweetness and Lightning?
Yes.
Okay.
But at the same time, they're kind of hard to talk about on a week-to-week basis because it's just,
Slow.
No, not slow. It's
Not
there's
a
no
bad thing.
conversation worth having about it because it's you know
Simple.
what to expect. It's simple.
Sure.
Yes, simple is the best word, and simple's not bad. In most cases, simple's better than most things. A lot of shows can get very convoluted very quickly because they try to be too complex. So basically, like Orange, Amanchu, Sweetness, Lightning, they're not taking any risks. It's just what you see is what you get.
That's kind of a butt.
Is that? That's an arm.
No.
Or a leg.
It's the arm is like barely covering the butt.
I'll drink.
I'll drink, fine.
We-abooze-akin.
What? All right. So, real quick, we want to thank some people who reblogged our episode. I want to thank Pedal Dance, Lalalico, That Man with No iPad, The Frosty Knight, Darbinger, Max Mice, and Sweel Young.
I've heard like 80% of those names.
Swilliam.
Sweel Young? Yeah.
Like Squilliam Fancy Son?
Yeah,
No.
same people, but I mean, keep doing it regardless.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
I'm
It butters my biscuit.
So please keep sending us reviews and questions and episode topics and whatever you want. In addition to now, whatever your thoughts are on currently airing anime.
or what we should be watching.
Sure.
Yeah, if you have a recommendation that's specifically only for Jeremy, go for it.
You can send questions to us on Twitter at theweeabooze and at theweeabooze@gmail.com. And of course, you can send questions to me at Secret Otaku on Tumblr. And
We'd like to thank...
No,
Kate Boo.
not yet. We want to get the word out, so continue to
Oh, sure.
reblog our episode.
Is that
It
it?
helps a lot.
Tagline.
It's a
Tagline.
This is
tagline.
all part of the tagline.
Yeah, it is.
Our tagline is, please reblog.
Please.
And if you have
Like
the
and
time,
subscribe.
and if you have the time, give us an iTunes review. We want to thank Hentai Dude for our intro music and Kid Boo for our outro music.
And as always, get
Drunk.
And
anime.
see you guys next week.
You can catch me smoking a sour off the coast of Okinawa. Feeling so high like I'm Ho-Oh in that tower. Take a flight on some shit. Got my dogs riding beside me, blazing hot. That's kamikaze, sacred fire. Don't be mad, I'm lit. Catch me smoking a sour off the coast of Okinawa. Feeling so high like I'm Ho-Oh in that tower. Take a flight on some shit. Got my dogs riding beside me, blazing hot. That's kamikaze, sacred fire. Don't be mad, I'm lit.
Oh yeah. Just fucking throwing it in there.
It's supposed to. It's
Yeah.
natural, dude.
Um,
And then it gets a perfect little head on it. Don't you love perfect head?
yeah.
Damn. You didn't have to look me in the eyes when you said that. Jesus Christ.